Hey everyone, this is Tour de France 2019 Stage 15 recap or review. Another amazing day in the battle for the yellow jersey in Paris. And the suspense is just continuing to get deeper because every one of the favorites has shown the weakness. Maybe everyone in the mountains except Thibaut Pinot, which probably has the greatest chance to win the Tour de France in his entire career. And yesterday we've seen Marc Madiot going crazy, Pinot's director sportif, and he's known to be a personality, of course, in one of the biggest personalities in the Tour, former rider, and this is his biggest chance, to win the Tour. And I think they can smell it now because of Thibaut's second in a row performance. And who would have thought, when that Pinot is still going to be in contention after the Pyrenees, after he loses a minute and 40 in echelons, right? Just think about what would he, where would he be if he hadn't lost the minute and 40? The difference in the Tour de France right now is one roundabout on a windy stage to Albi. Okay, one roundabout. One roundabout of a difference. This is what it was, right? The team simply went the wrong way and they followed him. He followed them. And there was the difference. They were the last people not to make the split. So he's now a minute and 50 off the yellow jersey of Julian Alaphilippe's, and he lost 1 minute and 40 in an echelon on a stage to Albi. So without this, he would be a 10 seconds of the yellow jersey in a second place. Okay, but we certainly, as fans of cycling, we're not complaining because again, the plot is getting deeper and deeper. There is countrymen on countrymen rivalries. There's teammate on teammate rivalries. There's within team tactics. There's questions of team strength. There's a saga of movie star which continues with Quintana, and again, everybody criticizes movie star for their tactics, but I will say it today. Today, it kind of worked out for them in the end, right? In the end, Pinot did catch Landa, right? But Landa still gained time. He's now within 5 minutes of the yellow jersey. I think he's still too far away. But the big question is if Alaphilippe has a big problem on one of those long alpine climbs, right? That'll put Landa only 3.5 minutes away from the yellow jersey. So every day in the Alps needs to be Landa's long range attack. There's just no other way. Okay? If he's really dreaming of winning the yellow jersey, or his goals are a little bit lessened and, he only dreams about the podium in Paris. So, everybody criticizes movie star. Today, and I was one of the critics, and today I would say that movie star did exceptionally well, and I think they have the strongest team in the tour. They just keep using these guys. I mean, the guys like Soler, my God, right? I mean, Soler has been out, in front in the early break. Soler has been out helping out through the valley, driving Landa. I mean, just pretty amazing performance. Now today also we saw several different things. As expected, there were issues with race control, right? It took a while for the break to establish. Eventually, it was like, again, like 30, 35 riders. Uh, but nobody really wanted to lead the race in the beginning. The Koenig was, tried to lead the race, but nobody really was willing. Certainly, Ineos was not willing, and certainly Jumbo was not willing to take the race. Movistar, slightly a different composition of a team. They don't really have a lot of rollers. They have a lot of climbers, so they went out and certainly animated the race, putting a couple of guys, now three guys, in the early break. Another thing that really came to play today was the explosion of how much, of importance is really the team. Okay, Alaphilippe's performance today, he cracked on the last climb, as you know, was due just simply to uh, lack of the team. Mass dropped early, right? Super early on the last climb. So he wasn't a factor. I think he actually dropped on the Pegere, Moor de Pegere, right? Early on that steep 3 kilometer section. I think that's where he actually dropped. But again, Alaphilippe simply has no team. They were not prepared, for the GC battle. They send Alaphilippe as a stage hunter, and they set a second part of the team for Viviani, hoping kind of that Mass maybe could do a top 10, but never in their wildest dreams they thought that Alaphilippe is going to be leading the team. I mean, the GC after the Pyrenees. I mean, I think it's still a huge, huge surprise to everyone. So, I think Alaphilippe made a lot of tactical mistakes today, but I don't even think that Alaphilippe really knows, right, how to, how to kind of not be a leader, but how to kind of process these things, right? There's several choices. You have to process everything on the road, and usually you have the team to do it with riders at their disposal. So today there was a couple of issues that I thought as they were kind of mistakes that Alaphilippe made, right? The first questionable mistake was after Pinot, after Gaudu came up to set the pace for the attack of Thibaut Pinot. You know what I'm talking about. On the last climb. Pinot attacked, and Alaphilippe actually went with him, try to match that acceleration. I'm not sure if he really knew the limit of his strength, so that's to, of course, his defense. But the question was whether he should have gone, try to match the acceleration, or he should have stayed with, with Geraint Thomas. Again, that's questionable because Bernal was staying on Thibaut's wheel, right? So Bernal was 3 minutes behind. So the question was when and how he should be chasing. It just would have been really cool if, again, he would have some teammates to pick up the chase, like Ineos did today, and like Jumbo had today, right? Literally, Alaphilippe was alone, already about 1-2 kilometers away from the finish of the Moor de Pegere, which was the even like it was the like a second category 1 climb, so the climb next to the finishing one. So there's certainly issues that we have to look at, and we have to look at in terms of picking our winner. If the team is the biggest obstacle in Alaphilippe's final success. Another mistake I thought there was that Alaphilippe, after he dropped away from Pinot Bernal group, and was caught by Thomas and Wout Poels, who actually had a very good day finally, right? One of the only guys on Ineos that had a good day. He actually went up front to chase, right? I don't know if that was the right decision. I don't know if he really processed those things, but he should have kind of looked at the whole composition of the break, and uh, uh, Pinot should be also chased by Geraint Thomas, and Pinot should be more importantly chased by Kruijswijk, by Jumbo. So I felt like Alaphilippe should have conserved his energy for the final 2 kilometers and let the other teams, Ineos and Jumbos, chase because they had, a helper. They still had, the rider in a group. So they still have world pools for Ineos, and they still had, I think it was one of the other guys for Jumbo, right? So I thought that was pretty interesting. Early break, as predicted, big break, and as predicted, there were some major names in the early break that lost time on the Col de Tourmalet, right? Badret was represented. Yates was there. Simon, Nairo Quintana was there. Martin was there. Movie Star put in early men in the break. So yeah, as predicted, the stage was as predicted. Then they got over the category 2, the famous climb with the Cather Castle. Then they got over category 1, and then the second category 1 climb was the more Pegeur, right? Pegeur, I guess. And again, the last 3 kilometers, I knew it because I was looking at those profiles in detail, and it was just absolutely brutal. And I was expecting actually 20 to 30 guys, but the group was actually like 10, 15 guys at the top. So it was even more brutal than expected. Kudos to Simon Geschke, right, from CCC. Wow, great performance, even though he didn't pan out in the end. Very strong. He should probably attack again, especially on the stage to Mall, right? There's a break tomorrow, but Wednesday stage with the category 2 climb Centennial is kind of tailor-made to ace escapees that can climb, so I think Simon Geschke should have a chance, right? Landa went, right, in that 3 kilometer section. Fuglsang tried to follow him, Fuglsang, right? And he only followed him for like 500 yards, and Landa got a gap, right? So that was that was pretty good to see because Landa again animated the race. Mind you, Movistar had 3 guys up front. One of them was Quintana, who again surprisingly was really struggling together with Daniel Martin. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with their form. Now, rain. Nobody was predicting the rain, right? That made things a little slippery on that descent. Immediately your body works differently. So that was, kind of unpredictable to see. It was carnage, literally carnage in the back of the peloton. Everybody kept dropping off on that group. At one point, I think I saw Ineos lose like 4 guys within like maybe 200 meters, right? So there was, it was pretty crazy. Landa kept going up front. Geschke attacked, right, on the hard climb, but Yates made it back to him right before the top. So, it was on the descent, it was Geschke and Simon Yates, and behind it was the reminders of the break, and then there was, there was Landa, climbing along, and the other Movistar guys kind of waiting for him, right? The descent was kind of really hairy, and I was Very, very dangerous, and the road service, as predicted, was pretty bad. I was a little bit worried that a rain would come and like make this descent unpassable, but the rain actually stopped, and then it started raining again on the final climb. So that was actually good to see, but still, it was really weird to see Julian Alaphilippe to be riding on the wheel of Michael Woods, who apparently has a issue with descending. So I don't know if the team car kind of knew about it, but remember Michael Woods was the one that caused the crash um, for the whole Geraint Thomas and Ineos team, right? On that stage when they were on the Alaphilippe stage. So I don't know, seeing him on the back of Woodsy's wheel was pretty scary. Um, it was kind of a really dangerous position to be in. Um, the final climb came, and again, uh, movie stars tactic kind of worked out because I thought they were actually going to get more time when the last two guys dropped. A couple of movie star guys from the early breakaway dropped into pace Landa towards the final finish. Thankfully, Ineos had enough guys, but Jumbo picked up the pacemaking, and they were going after Landa to defend for Kruijswijk. I mean, the bottom slopes of Prat del Bis, right, were absolutely brutal. Those the 2 kilometers, they were super steep. Kind of at the beginning, at 10.5 and 11% really proved to be the difference maker. Pinot again at this point, because it changes every day, but at this point Pinot is the strongest rider in the race. Okay, so he puts in Gadu up front. He starts making a pace for attack. Pinot hits him and immediately carnage, right? You have carnage in the back. Richie Porte goes. Mollema dropped way before. Rigoberto Urán goes. Warren Barguil, the champion of France, goes. So there's just a lot of carnage in the back, and Geraint Thomas goes, right? So he drops. And the only people that can actually, match the wheel of, take the wheel of Pinot were Bookman, which really impressed. He's riding impressive, and I don't know how he's still, in this race, but he's only 2 minutes off, and he's one of the 6 guys that still have a chance to win the yellow jersey. Amazing ride by Bookman. And then Bernal goes, okay, and then Alaphilippe tries to match the acceleration of Pinot. So again, was that a right tactic of Alaphilippe? I don't know, but he was clearly left alone. He had to make a decision. I would love to know if the director sportif really told him that he should go, right? Or was it the choice really made on his own? We have a continuous issue here of the leadership amongst the Ineos team. Okay, Bernal hit an upper hand yesterday. Bernal kind of had an upper hand today because he gained more time. But we have a serious leadership issue in the ranks of Ineos, because once again Bernal was given a free way to ride. He did not wait for Geraint Thomas, and thankfully Wout Poels had a very good day. He seems recovered, so he was kind of pacing Thomas up the climb. And then we saw probably one of the more defining moments in the Tour, right? Simon Yates is up front, and he drops drops Geschke. He goes for a stage win. Landa uses his guys and keeps climbing through the reminders of the early breakaway. Quintana I have no idea, right? He completely ignored Landa. It's almost like he's riding on a different team now, right? I'm just really curious how this conversation among the team is going. They're even talking to each other, right? He's going to Arkea next year, so he's already on the other team. He's just riding his own team, a race. I don't know what's going on. But a defining moment for me was what Pinot went again, and went again. I mean, this guy is accelerating all the time. He puts Alaphilippe he drops Alaphilippe, he drops Bookman. Then he kind of like looks behind and he sees Bernal and like flicks Bernal to come in front and help him. Bernal cannot do it. And, it's just, for me, at least, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking that Bernal could not match Pinot today, right? You got this rising star, rising Colombian eagle, right? And you have Pinot, which has always been there, but like just doesn't not. It didn't seem for a while like he had a champion quality, and today he proved me and everyone else wrong, because he's certainly in contention, and he may win. He looks like a strongest guy in a race. Drops Bernal silly, right? In the meantime, in the back, Alaphilippe drops back to the group of Kreiswick and Thomas. And the biggest mistake again is like, why is he leading this group? Okay, he's not lost any time now on his two main rivals. He's riding with them, and they have teammates. Okay, so they should have been the one making the pace, and Alaphilippe should just let Bernal go. He has another minute on Bernal. I mean, he can hear the gaps in the radio. So, I thought there was a tactical mistake, and I thought that by him leading the pace, he kind of put himself in the red, right? Then Kreiswick attacked, right? And that put Bernal in trouble. Not Bernal, but Alaphilippe, the yellow jersey, that put him in trouble, and he dropped. So, so now you had a situation where Alaphilippe was in the back, okay, with I think Whirlpools, and then obviously he's not going to ride. And then you had a situation where Thomas was going with Kreiswick, and Thomas was actually attacking. Thomas actually matched Kreiswick acceleration and just went on the attack. So in front, Landa was caught by Pinot, okay, and Simon Yates went to win the stage. So and in the end, it was Yates winning the stage. It was Pinot getting time again, okay, with Landa, and then it was you had Bernal, okay, making it. I'm looking at the GC for today. You had Leonard Kama, he doesn't really count, and then you had Geraint Thomas, Steven Kreiswick, Alejandro Valverde together, and then you had Richie Porte kind of recovered pretty well, right? He couldn't match that acceleration, but he recovered pretty well. So he only lost 8 seconds to Geraint Thomas. And then you had Julian Alaphilippe who lost 22, 42, 27 seconds to Kreiswick and to Thomas. I mean, for like fantasy and for like where this tour is going to go, it's got to be the best Tour de France in like years, right? I mean, look at the last years. Look at the last 10 years. 2009, when was the first time Froome won? I mean, Sky, today's Ineos, was controlling this race for years. For years, we had this Terminator team out up front that was just killing everyone. And this just tells me that sport is getting cleaner. Who am I? I'm just a cycling fan. I'm not sure what the situation out there is. I'm not sure how much illegalities, illegal substances there are. But as a lifelong fan of the tour and a lifelong fan of cycling, it's really good to see, because it just really seems to me that the plane has equaled at least somewhat, right? That there's really no kind of like a Terminator team anymore. There's really no Banestos and Discoveries, no Astanas, or no Skies. That everybody's kind of has a bad day. Sometimes it's on the limit, has a better day, has a worse day. So, it just really makes for exciting racing, and it's good to see. And, I'm sure people are still here and there cheating, and there's still a problem, but I think the problem is not as bad as it used to be, just because the way the race kind of unfolds, that everybody can have a bad day at any time. Okay. Geez, winners, losers. Boy, I think the real losers today, it's kind of hard to say losers, right? But De Koning probably has to be the biggest loser. The tactics and the lack of support for the leader. I mean, it's not like they did it on purpose. They just didn't expect the performance. But this is gonna be, if there's gonna be an ongoing, right? If there's gonna be an undoing of Alaphilippe, it's going to be heavy in part because he just cannot react to all of the attacks. All right. So this is where it's going to be interesting. I mean, he doesn't have the upper hand. Um, FDJ is better. Um, Jumbo is better. Movistar is better. Probably the strongest team. And Ineos is definitely better and getting better as we speak. I mean, Geraint Thomas, uh, again, better day. All right, I don't know how much of a better day it was really for Geraint Thomas, as it was the weakness of the De Koning team and the tactical mistakes made by Alaphilippe. So it's just we'll see. This is just again getting interesting. To me, Alaphilippe was not a loser today. He was actually a winner, but his team, in a way, lost in some ways. So I guess Alaphilippe passed another test, not in flying colors, not a 5-star pass by any means, but passed the test. And now, of course, there's another test, right? We keep making those tests, those questions. And, again, the team, the question is the team. Big time question. He can't react to all the accelerations, to attacks. What if he has a problem? Right? What if he has a technical problem on a descent? He crashes. Right? Who's going to help him? Right? I'm sure there's some kind of, behind the scenes kind of truces being made here and there. But, again, it's going to be an issue. Right? And the second question that is, again, created for Alaphilippe is, okay, you're at the Pyrenean stage. How can you deal, right? How can you take the, 3 category 1s, that whole thing, with a high mountain pass that's not one pass like the Tourlamed, but can you really take it to another level? 208 kilometer stage that comes up on Thursday over 3 massive climbs over, 2,000 meters, right? They're 20 kilometers long, right? So there's not a one mountain, it's 3 mountains. So that's another question, right? How far can Alaphilippe go? All right. Somebody will have the right tactic, somebody's tactics will fail. It just breaks down to that in the Tour de France now, right? So super interesting, and I just literally cannot wait. So now we have a situation where, let's take a look at the GC here. We have, way to go. Okay, we have 6 guys that can possibly win the Tour. I mean, we have more guys behind, but who knows what's going to happen this Tour de France. But, within reason, right? I think Landa at 5 minutes and Valverde at 5 minutes and Fulslang 5:27, Rigoberto around at 5:33 are too far already. Okay? But I think the top 6 guys, Bookman, Bernal, Pinot, Kreiswick, Thomas, and Alaphilippe, those will be the 6 guys that we're looking at. Okay? The biggest question is, if Pinot will attack, and Pinot will attack, and Gadu will set him up again, right? Who is chasing, right? Alaphilippe ain't going to chase. No way, because they will break down this stage tonight and tomorrow, right? They will be talking about the tactics for literally all night long, the directors, right? They're going to be striking deals with teams. They're going to, something's going to come down, but they're not going to chase, right? If Pinot goes one of those big alpine cols, right, there's no way he can chase alone. So Pinot will go. He's only a minute and 50 behind, right? Look at the separation between the 6, right? Geraint Thomas at 1:35 behind. Steven Kreiswick is at 12 seconds behind Geraint Thomas. Pinot is at 16 seconds behind Geraint Thomas. Bernal is further 28 seconds behind Geraint Thomas. And then Bookman is 40 seconds behind Geraint Thomas. So any of these guys attacking, immediately red flags go throughout the entire GC group. This is how crazy this is. So it's going to be really interesting for Alaphilippe to sit back and just simply match the accelerations, because I think his greatest enemy right now, right, is 2 teams. His greatest enemy, greatest rival is Thibaut Pinot. If he attacks, he has a 1 minute and 50 cushion. Technically, he could allow 1 attacks in 3 days in the Alps. Okay, 1 major attack. But before he has to react, definitely Geraint Thomas and Egan Bernal will have to react, and definitely Kreiswick will have to react. Emmanuel Bookman is just kind of hanging out, seeing things. So he could be a joker, right? Now, another person who could be a major joker here is the 2 movie star guys. Okay? Again, they gained time today. Good for Landa. Still, I mean, just think about if Landa wouldn't have a mechanical, right? Think about Landa right now is Landa 4 minutes and 54 seconds. Okay? He lost 2 minutes and 10 seconds in the echelon on the stage 2 LB. Due to mechanical, not due to any other issues. All right, 2 minutes and 10. So right now Landa would be right in the race. He would be at 2:44 behind. So right now he would be, we would talk about him in contention. So I'm sure that one of these guys, Valverde or Landa, will not be sacrificed, but in a way will go early. We'll have an early attack again to see if he can actually, make like an epic ride and gain 2 minutes and be back in contention for the last 2 mountain stages in the Alps. So, this is going to be interesting. Another factor that is coming into play right now is going to be weather. The flat stage and the hilly stage that are coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday, super hot. 40 Celsius. 40 Celsius is near 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Big time play. Then rain comes. At least one of the days in the Alps will be raining. Again, we're in for an epic battle. Okay? Again, I'm not going to make any predictions anymore because I don't know. Right? I might make prediction in my preview, right? But I just don't know. I don't know where this goes. At this point, Um, Geez, I mean, at this point, it could be Thibaut Pinot, right? Providing that he doesn't have a bad day, but it could be Thibaut Pinot because other guys will have to react to it. Okay, and he's just very close to Thomas and everyone else. Uh, in a way, like when you really think about this, it it's starting to look a little bit like the Giro in some way. You have this epic battle of two guys. Well, one of them wasn't a favorite, right? But he became a favorite after. Alaphilippe and Thomas are playing this chess game, right? And in two stages, they kind of allowed Thibaut Pinot to, get back into this race. And basically, Thibaut Pinot is back where he would be hadn't he lose the 140 in an echelon. Now, the difference is, I really feel that in the Giro, in the battle between Nibali and Roglic, they kind of let Carapaz back into the race and gain time on a couple of stages. It wasn't, I didn't feel that he was the strongest man in the race. He was equal strongest man in the race. And here, clearly, right now, Pinot is the strongest man. So it's just going to be the the survival of the fittest. All right, guys, this is the Stage 15 2019 Tour de France recap. Hopefully you're going for a ride today, inspired by what's going on in the tour. I'm gonna go super hot today, but I'm gonna hit 30 miles. I'm gonna go on my loop and climb my little hills like there are big coals in Colorado or um, in the Pyrenees or the Alps itself, right? Again, huge 600 vertical feet of climbing await me. Okay, and yeah, so just curious about how your fitness, how your training is going. I can feel the difference, about two kilos um, lighter today. And if you like the preview, please subscribe. Right, we have to spread the message of the cycling world. And hit like if you like the video, and sign up for the channel. And please leave comments. I'm really curious about what you think about this year's tour, and really curious about how you think this tour will unfold to the end. Who gets the yellow in Paris? Thank you, guys. Take care.